Uh, Hello. It's been a little bit since I last did a kind of an update, or really, I guess, spoke to you guys at all. Um, it's currently August 17th, 2023. Way too many months into the year to have barely anything out. But, well, there's been a lot that's been going on. Both visibly on the channel, as you guys have probably noticed, and personally for me. So, yeah, there's a lot to get into. I've been meaning to do this thing for like months. I kept putting it off and saying, I'll do it, I'll do questions and answers and all this stuff. But I couldn't bring myself to for a little bit, which I'll get into here shortly. But yeah, let's start at the beginning with that, and then after I kind of go over everything with the channel, I'll do the questions that I have that you guys have. So first things first, I guess. The last thing I put out being the update video that I did a little bit back. I made that video after a lot of thought between myself. I really wanted to kind of keep things with the channel normal. I wanted to keep doing what I was doing, obviously, and all that, but my doctor had advised me that it was bad for me, and I was starting to have a lot more anxiety, and I was starting to get paranoid that I wasn't me. as silly as that sounds. So I stopped it. I stopped it, and for a while, things felt better. When I put out that video, when I recorded that video, it was after a few weeks of taking some time away from the internet, just online in general. I stepped away from Twitter and all that stuff, and I was feeling better. I had gone to the gym. I'd gone outside on daily walks. Who'd have guessed that seeing the sun daily would improve the way you feel. Sorry about that. I have a little bit of a cold right now as I make this. So I apologize for any stuffy nose sounds or coughs. I'll try to keep it to a minimum. But yeah, so needless to say, I was feeling good, and then I put out the update video because I wanted to just be out there. I wanted to put myself in the forefront, step away from the character of Demenza, the guy behind the screen, all the Demenza's Gate stuff, all the kind of spooky little elements that I was trying to do because I thought they were fun at the time. I wanted to make sure you guys saw me and not the character, not Demenza, this thing I had made up. I wanted to make sure you saw the creator behind the scenes. So I stepped up and I made the video, and I felt good about it. And then a day or two later, somebody commented, or I watched it back or something, and I noticed the end of it was different. There was this weird corruption in this text that I didn't put there, and I didn't do that. And I even went back and I checked the file that I had, and the file didn't have that. So that edit didn't come from me. I don't know if it's an encoder thing or what, but I know it didn't come from me, and I tried to take it down and re-upload it, and every time I did, it would come back. So I'm not. That was kind of the first thing that made me think there was some kind of, I don't know, hacker or somebody who maybe had access to the channel and was just every time I uploaded the video, deleting the one I uploaded, and maybe uploading a a modified version. So I gave up after a little bit, and I tried to ask YouTube support about it, but they also didn't know. They thought that I was uploading it, and I kept trying to tell them that it wasn't me, but they kept saying, the only uploads are coming from you. So I don't know what was up with that video. And I worried about it. I thought about it. I was racking my brain, like, what is this? What happened, for a while, and then I just decided to move on. I couldn't focus on it. It was making my life worse to focus on it. So I moved on. And yeah, and then I went back to, I again tried to step away from online. I tried to get back into keeping up my routine, caring for me, putting myself first, because that's what I was told to do. I was on my medication. I was feeling good. I didn't want to be brought down by it. And everything was fine until, all of a sudden, there were like these two vlogs. I mean, it started with one, but there was like an old vlog I had from 2020, like way back when, before I moved into this place, before I got hired by the Gate Foundation as well, as like a janitor. Which I guess it's a little bit of a, maybe I should bleep that out. But yeah, so it was like before that. So it was like a really weird pull. I'm not even sure why. But I used to do these Patreon things, and I thought because it was like so closed off, I could talk about certain things that I wouldn't now. Like that video had some personal stuff in it. And then the following one had some personal stuff in it. And like, I wasn't sure I really wanted that stuff out. But yeah, these things were like from 2020, and they just randomly showed up. I thought I had like deleted them. I thought I'd like either deleted them or made them private. Like, I hadn't thought about them for years at this point. I mean, that's so far back. Those were pretty much Patreon only uploads, and all of a sudden they were just made public. And like, I didn't know why. I tried to move them or remove them or make them private or anything, and like every time I tried, it aired out, and like I didn't really think of it as that much harm. I did try to submit a ticket to it, and YouTube, again, they basically told me like there's nothing they could do. So I figure whatever, maybe it's this hacker again. I tried to tell them, like, hey man, is anybody accessing my channel, like, from a different IP or something like that, I know I've heard that you can track people through IPs, like they're basically little tags computers have. And they told me that no, it was all from me. The only access point they're seeing is my computer, but like I didn't do those things, clearly, so like I'm not sure what they're implying with that, I guess, because it definitely wasn't me. I don't know if maybe somebody's like spoofing my IP or something like that, or if that's possible or whatever. But again, at the time, I didn't think much of it because it was still like whatever. And then I looked into the comments or like the descriptions of those videos, and like I didn't write that text, so like clearly there's some bad actor here, and their support is just making me feel like I was crazy for saying that it wasn't me, like that it was somebody else, and like they just didn't do anything. And then time went on, again I tried to focus on myself and do things for me and focus on being healthy. And and then the last upload happened. It was this weird creepy video with like a tone under it, like a high-pitched tone, and I don't know what it is, but it's like this picture of, I mean, it's me, but it's also not me. I don't remember ever taking it. Like I don't remember really ever taking that photo, or like what the context is, but it's possible, I guess, maybe in the past it was like with my episodes or something like that. But then how did that person get that photo? Because like I don't have it. I don't have it on any device. I've checked my devices. I don't know where it came from. And then the text and like the description under it, it was just... I don't know if somebody's like fucking with me or trying to hack my account. I've tried to go to support. I've tried to ask them, and they insist that I'm the only one with access. With access. God, I can't even fucking talk right anymore. If you're out there, whoever's doing this, whoever is like fucking with me, please stop. I don't like it. I need to... It's a character, okay? I don't know how much clearer I can make it. It was just a character that I pulled from like an old program, okay? It's a name that I pulled from like some old public broadcast fucking thing. Like, that's it. That's the extent. So why can't you just leave it alone? Why can't all of you just leave it be? Leave it at that. I'm done. I don't want to play that game anymore. I don't want to be that character. I don't... If you're hacking my channel to try and like play into this weird shit, like what's the point, you know? God. I just can't... I don't know what to do about it. And like every attempt I've made to try and like solve the issue, it's gone nowhere. So I guess this is kind of like a plea to get you or whoever or whatever to just stop. Like leave me alone. I just want to make my own thing. I don't want to be connected with this. I don't want to keep having to have things come up. I don't want it to continue forever and ever. I'm working on other projects right now. The 2 projects I'm working on are like heartfelt videos, like video essays that I put so much time and effort into, but it's so hard to continue when this crap keeps happening. And like I don't know what to do or what I can possibly say to make you guys realize how serious I am. That this isn't a game that I want to play anymore. I don't want anything to do with Demenza. It's a character. That's it. There is no game. There is no ARG. It was just videos. So stop it. Leave it at that, please. Let's move on. This channel, the only reason I haven't changed the name is for brand recognition. If I called it Daniel Bryant, nobody's gonna pay attention to it, but maybe that's the step I need to take at this point, just to make people realize like how much I want to distance myself from this. Like it's just a name. It shouldn't have this much of an effect. Just stop. Okay? No more. So that's the last word on that I'm going to say. I hope I've been clear. And I'm sorry that it seems like I may be getting upset here, but I just can't keep doing this anymore. I can't keep being fucked with like this. It undoes everything I worked so hard for. And I don't want to keep repeating this cycle, of mental health issues. So please just respect my wishes, okay? I promise. I know that some of you might be like sad about the fact that that aspect isn't there anymore, but trust me, okay? It's gonna be. I'm still making things, you know. Just give it a shot at least. God. Okay. I'm gonna open up the questions, and we're gonna go over those. All right. I'm just gonna drop it. I can't. I can't focus on it anymore. After this, I'm just gonna drop it and I'm gonna move on and I'm gonna pretend like, you know, I'm just gonna ignore it. I don't know why, but I can't remove those videos from my channel, and YouTube system sucks so fucking much that they won't help me. Fine. I accept that. Whatever. But like, I don't know, man. Anyway, question time. So we're gonna start off here with some Patreon questions that I got from a while ago. Thank you, Patreons, for your continued support during all of this. It literally has helped keep me fed at points. It does mean a lot, like, that anyone supports this, and I promise, you know, I'm trying to do more, to show more and all that. There's a bunch of behind the scenes stuff I need to upload, so I'll try to get that out soon, I promise. But there's obviously a lot weighing on my mind right now, and I appreciate your patience. So the first question is from viewer Video Witch, and her question is, are there any particular works or even other channels that inspired the tone of DEMENZA'S Gate? Well, this is kind of two-pronged, especially, I guess, especially after everything I said. In terms of, like, the older stuff, the two influences, like, the review side, I'd say probably stuff like Grimbeard, maybe a little bit of Civvy, like a tiny bit for certain games and stuff like that. You know, I guess just people I kind of grew up with watching or, like, really gravitated to. It's all kind of in there. And then as for, like, a lot of the, you know, back then, a lot of the ARG elements I was trying to incorporate, that was inspired by stuff like, you know, Everyman Hybrid and all that good old stuff, you know, Marble Hornets, all that stuff. Yeah, I obviously, like, grew up watching that stuff, so I wanted to include a little bit of that in my channel, and, like, for a while, that, you know, I was trying to, like, only a dash of it, but I guess it just became too much for me, really. So it's a lot harder than it looks like, especially when I guess you run into a lot of mental issues like I did, so maybe it was a bit too ambitious for one person to dream of. As for the new stuff, a lot of it is inspired by, I'd say, the works of, like, Joseph Anderson, a lot more, like, long format sort of reviews or video essay people. Joseph Anderson is definitely one of them. If you've ever seen H-Bomber Guy's older YouTube videos on, like, games, there's that. Kind of, sort of a little bit of, I guess just, like, pieces here and there of certain, like formats and essays that I really like, that I've, like, particularly dug. I'm hoping to kind of do more of, like, going forward, like, everything up to now was just game reviews, because that was kind of like what I was doing with the old DEMENZA'S Gate. This new stuff that I'm doing now is, like, myself, you know, the Daniel Bryan era. That stuff going forward is going to be a lot more, like, I guess you could say, long-winded. I'm trying to make it, like, a lot more, like, fancy and nice, and there's a lot more going on there, you know. Hopefully having a lot more, like, intelligent conversations about games rather than just trying to, like, review them, you know. So yeah, I guess stuff like that. A little bit of no clip as well, because like the documentary aspect has always interested me, even with my reviews. Like I always like to talk about the history of a thing. I find the history of like projects and works of creation to be a very interesting part. So I obviously want to incorporate that. So hopefully that answers your question. I know it's a little bit rambly, but it's kind of complex given the recent split. All right, viewer is your guy asks, you mentioned in your Blair Witch video that you haven't seen the original film. Is that still true? Seems like you'd vibe with it, and I'd be keen to hear what you thought of it. Yeah, since then I have actually seen Blair Witch and Blair Witch 2, an underrated gem. By the way, that was just fucked with real hardcore by the studios. And also the remake, that was fine. But yeah, no, it's a really good film. In fact, I'm not sure why at the time it took me so long to really see it. I guess it's because I kind of saw it in sort of like the cultural osmosis of things. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a wonderful film, frankly. It's like looking back at it now, it still holds up in so many ways, and it is very much like it is a found footage film with a bunch of people that just wanted to make a movie, and it feels so nice and like authentic, and like it's the kind of thing that like I would want to make ideally. Like I've always dreamed of, when I started this channel, I've always kind of dreamed of making a movie, and like Blair Witch is kind of the kind of movie that just like, it feels like so many people are contributing to it, and like there's not tons of practical stuff they can do. They don't have a budget, they don't have any of this stuff, but it has the energy of like a bunch of people going out into like a wooded area or like an abandoned rundown house and just kind of filming stuff around it and coming up with this concept around it that they can kind of like, use everything around them as best as they possibly can. I find that fascinating. Like I find any movie where you can really tell like, okay, they didn't have a ton of budget, so they're doing these cool shots and you're kind of wondering like, oh, how'd they get that shot? How'd they do that? Oh man, how'd they get that scene? Or like, oh man, that scene, that shot they did is like choice. I find that stuff fascinating, and it's a really good example of that. It took me way too long to watch it. The second one is like a kind of mess, but also like actually supremely interesting and fascinating as well in its own way. But yeah, I really like it, and I think it has a lot of personality, and I think it has a lot of value, and I think everyone should probably give that a watch. On to the next question. Next question is submitted by viewer Linus Wood. Linus asks, when it comes to live action stuff, do you shoot it alone by default, or are you always eager to get other people to help, whether it be out of creative interest or just out of necessity because you need shots that you can't get by yourself? Also, who's your favorite Peanuts character? Favorite Peanuts character would probably be Linus. As a kid, I got compared to, I hope I'm thinking of the right one. It's been a while since I've seen Peanuts, but Linus was, as far as I remember, the one with the little blanket. And as a kid, I used to get compared to Linus because I would always walk around with my blanket. And I found that to be a relatable trait, to walk around with your blanket as a kid and just want to be cozy all the time and cozy up in that blanket, because that's what I did. So I was always a fan. Always a fan of Snoopy, of course. Snoopy's great. Big Peanuts fan. I haven't watched them in a while, but I've always enjoyed the Peanuts whenever a movie comes on or anything like that. I can't help but smile. So, yeah. As for the question of filming stuff, the vast majority of stuff I film alone because I have to. Frankly, I don't really have anyone that I can ask to help me film really anything. I haven't really run into situations yet where I need multiple people to film. There's just not really been a time to. Because most of what I'm doing is just a camera there or a shot there. I've gotten some pretty interesting shots, especially in the older vids when I was trying to play up a lot of like the DEMENZA'S ARG stuff. That was like, that was also just by myself. Like, I think, yeah, pretty much every shot has just been myself. Even some of the complex ones I've just tried to do by myself. I'd love to film with other people, but I guess I don't really see that much of a need for it at the moment, especially with what I'm doing. Certain shots, it'd be nice to have like multiple people, but yeah, I'm currently a solo filmmaker in a lot of respects. If I did have multiple people, I would love to like literally just make a movie. Back in the day, when I was younger, I actually used to, before this channel became what it is, believe it or not, it used to be a repository for like videos I made with my friends when I was like in high school. We'd make like live action little bits that we would do together and all that stuff, and that was a lot of fun. This channel's actually, it's gone through like a few different eras. Like before that, I tried to do Let's Plays back when I was like a middle schooler or whatever, and I've always just kind of wanted to make stuff, and I've always just been like attracted to being a camera person. So like I would love nothing more than to have multiple people to film with and to like be a camera person, be both on the screen and behind the camera too, because I like directing stuff. I like shooting film. I genuinely like the end goal of all of this. If in an ideal world, like if I could do anything in the whole wide world, I would be a filmmaker, or I definitely would just love to like film movies or make stuff with my friends and all that. But I'm here. The only other people I live with are all like security guards for the company I work with, so they're not really like friendly enough to. They're not really friends, But yeah, hopefully that answers it. I'd love to actually get together with people and film. On to the next question. Viewer K Vekos asks, is there an online game you wish you'd had a chance to play in its heyday, but now it's dead or offline? Yes. I wish I was able to more properly enjoy, and I know that these still exist to some degree, but in terms of like stuff I'd like to have appreciated, I guess back when it was like in its heyday, and I kind of did, but like the original Red Dead Online, like before Red Dead 2, was a ton of fun, and I kind of wish I had spent more time with it. I wish I had more friends that had actually played it, because it was like actually very fun, but it's one of those aspects now that is like kind of like it's been replaced. The new version and the new game I just didn't like, frankly. Same thing with kind of GTA, honestly. Like, I like GTA 4's online a lot, and I just never really got into GTA 5, but like both of those games during their heyday I wasn't really like into that much. They just weren't really things that interested me. Like I played them single player, but I just didn't have a lot of like friends at the time. So yeah, that's kind of it. The only other one, honestly, would be Resident Evil Outbreak, because Outbreak was like that cool. It's probably the only time there's ever been a good online Resident Evil game, and I played like maybe 5 matches of it total, and it's just kind of a fucking shame that I didn't play more. I really wish I had experienced more of that. Yeah, those would probably be my answers. So, hey there, funny thing happened. So I found out, my camera apparently has about a 30-minute timer before it just decides that's the end of the video, no matter what, and because of all my rambling and everything else, the last few questions got cut off. So, I was gonna come back and just record them, but Big Mac stole my chair, so I'm gonna quickly grab another one I have here by my synthesizer. Thank you, Big Mac. So, yeah. Where was I before that cut off? Right, I'm gonna roll 2 questions into one. This one's from Sad FM, and then the other one is from Galactic Popcorn, and they're basically just asking if I found whoever or whatever was behind the channel, and also just confirming like that it wasn't, a bit. Yeah, it definitely wasn't. It was definitely like, it's a little frustrating because, I tried to get help, I tried to figure out who it was, whatever, see if you could trace IP or anything like that. Like, I'm not the most tech savvy person. out there, but they insisted that like the only access from the channel was me at this IP at this location and all that. So like obviously I didn't upload it, so I'm not sure who did or what, but I don't know if it's possible maybe they like spoofed my account or something. I mean, there's got to be a reasonable explanation, right? But yeah, so no, unfortunately I haven't found anything. I don't know anything. I wish I did. I really wish I did, but that's unfortunately how it is. As for the other question I was asked here, let me actually quickly go close the thing. I'm gonna go close the window here real quickly. Okay, there we are. Sorry, I wanted to make sure the rest of the house didn't hear me talking down here. You know, they've gotten annoyed before because of the noise and all that. Don't want to get in trouble again. Okay, but yeah, moving on. Unfortunately, like, there's not much they can do. I've tried again and again and again, but nobody. They insist it's. I don't know, man. I don't know what they think, frankly, but. And the last question here is from Cookies of the Cream, who asks, what's your biggest motivator for your channel? I sometimes struggle to stick to a project for long periods of time, and seeing how consistently interesting your videos are make me want to create a lot myself. So first off, thank you. I'm extremely humbled by that. Like, I make these silly, goofy videos, and like all the reviews and everything else. I made it because, like, I don't know. I made it for me, and I kind of didn't expect it to ever matter to anybody or like other people to catch on or to like them to the degree that they have. Clearly, there's a lot of people who are passionate about what I was doing before and the style and everything else. So like seeing that people were into it means a lot to me. Like, genuinely, it cheers me up. It makes me happy to see that there are people that find what I do and get it. They get what I'm trying to do. In terms of like motivators, frankly, like I've been doing this since I was a kid. I think I mentioned earlier, I can't remember if it was before or after this dang thing cut off, but growing up from like middle school onward, like I started trying to make Let's Plays first of games and stuff. I think like Gmod and Slenderman and stuff like that. Back when those were popular, I would make like little YouTube videos on the channel I had at the time, and then when I was in high school, I would film stuff with my friends and put them on the channel as well. That was actually one of the ones that predated this one. There's like a few that predated this whole channel. I've kind of rebranded a few times. One of the most recent ones was like a gaming channel I used to do with a friend who moved away since, but yeah, I've just always liked to make stuff, like just film stuff with my friends. I used to have a group of high school friends I would just film stuff with and kind of be the camera guy for. I'd occasionally show up in front of the camera. Like, I like I don't know, I like being in front of the camera and acting and all that stuff, and I also like just filming stuff. Like, I think first and foremost, my heart just honestly belongs to the camera, as goofy as that might sound, but like, I just like filming stuff. I really feel the most comfortable, the most like at peace behind a camera or when I'm filming stuff. It's just something I'm really passionate about, and in terms of like what motivates me, really the thing that motivates me is just the act of creation. I'm a firm believer, and I know this is gonna sound goofy and dumb, but I'm a firm believer in that creating something, no matter what it is, like any piece of art, any piece of, anything really, like just bringing something into this world is one of the most healthy and good for you things a person can do. I've made things since I was a kid. It's like one of the few things that it's been my creative outlet, always. Like just making something has been my creative outlet. So for me, it's kind of because I feel a compulsion, almost, you could call it. I like have to make things, because if I don't, then like I'll go crazy. Though, I mean, given my luck, it seems like I'm going crazy while I'm making things anyway, right? But yeah, I mean, like it's just always kind of a thing that I felt I needed to do. Like I do it because I want to, because I enjoy it, and like I don't really pay attention to if it's good or like if people like it or anything like that. I make it for me and me first, and I feel like that's the biggest motivator of all. The motivation to do these things should just be your own motivation to do what you want to do. Doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. Doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. The act of creation, of making something that's really yours, is like one of the most impressive, important things somebody can do, in my opinion. I think it is genuinely so valuable to have people that make art, to have people that paint or take pictures or make music or videos like this or movies or anything. Like, creating is fundamentally one of the most like important parts of being a human to me. Like, it's perfectly fine and acceptable for people that, you know, there's plenty of people that don't want to make stuff, that don't have that like that tick in their brain. But for people that I feel like are artists, you know, there's always some part of them that's like, I should be making something. And some people kind of misread that as like maybe a guilt, or like I feel like I have to make something, versus like that's your brain trying to tell you like, this is a thing I want to do. And you know, everybody needs an outlet, you know. Even if you don't think you're good at it, there's going to be somebody out there who gets what you're going for and might be a fan or something. There's people that are fans of my channel. Like, it's my motivation is basically to create for myself. That's as lame as that sounds, and I wish I had a better answer, but my motivation is literally just, I want to make something, and so I will. Even if it's not the best, even if I don't do it as well as I want, you can sit there and you can tell yourself like, if I just wait, maybe I'll have the perfect chance to make this thing that I have in my head. But the biggest step is just making something. 99% of people just don't get past the point of, like, they'll think, oh man, it'd be cool if I could do this. It'd be cool if I could make this. Oh man, I want to make a game. Oh man, I want to make a video. I want to make music. The only thing stopping you is you. You have to take the first step, and you have to accept whatever you do, the first like few videos, the first few songs, the first few pictures, the first few anything you do, it's not going to be the best. And that's fine. That's normal. Nobody picks up a camera and intrinsically knows how to take video. That's just not how it works. I have years and years of me doing this as a kid, fucking around with cameras since I was a kid. I didn't just pick one up. My first videos are trash now compared to where I'm at. Like, nobody picks up these things and just knows how to do them. And for some people that's discouraging. You know, they see something in their head and they want to put it on paper and they want to put it out there as best as they can. But you can only do as good as you can do, you know? And just because you put an idea out there doesn't mean you can't revisit it later. So basically, hopefully this sums it all up. But just, I don't know, my motivation is to just do something. Because if I don't, then I'll feel like I'm not doing anything and I'm kind of wasting my time. As bad as that probably is. But anyway, as you can tell, I'm probably in a much better mood, and that's because at the end of the first time I did this, before my camera cut off, I don't know, like getting all this out there off my chest and answering your guys' questions, it has genuinely made me feel a lot better. It's like a weight has been lifted off of me, so I'm going to get back to editing. I'm going to get back there. I'm going to quickly go ahead and see what else I can get done today, and hopefully I'll get a video out soon. I will take off the video of the camera here and go ahead and hopefully make this update for you here shortly. But yeah, thank you all for watching. I hope this kind of explains everything. I'm sorry that it was so serious at the front, but you know, it's just stuff I felt needed to be said, you know? it sucks and it's lame and it whatever. I'm sorry if I got heated in a few things, but like it's been eating away at me, and just getting it out there, getting my raw feelings, even if they're not the most like well thought out, was very therapeutic for me. So I promise I'll have something out for you soon. I'll continue to work away at it, but for now, bye bye.